Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Live from the Ley Line. I'm your host, Cameron Porter, and with me, as always, the fucking Studley Muffin himself, Avery Newitt.
Just
How you doing?
muffin, just
Just the
muffin it
muffin.
out. Yeah.
It's like they took all my studs out.
Yep.
Good
I'm good,
Lord.
man. I'm good. Chilling.
Hell
Life is
yeah.
good.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
just got
sir.
engaged.
Yes, dude, I saw that. Fucking
Yes, sir.
congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, bro. Thanks.
Congratulations. That's huge.
We
That's
moving up.
huge. I'm so excited for you, man. It's very
Oh yeah.
big. I'll be waiting for that wedding invite.
Absolutely.
Drink check real quick before we get started.
Yeah, of course. The trademark.
Yeah.
Cheers that.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, Voodoo Ranger.
That's what
That'd be
makes
cool.
the beard so good on you kids.
Yep.
That dirt beer.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's actually in my contract I made with the beard gods. I have to drink at least 3 of these a week.
Nice.
I gag them down.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I love them. They're
I
high
don't know.
octane, dude.
I don't know
Like,
if I've said it before, but my friend Matt has a great saying, and he's like, "I drink IPAs when I'm going for results."
yeah.
You know, you're trying to get
Oh,
drunk.
I love it. Yeah, and that's the truth. These are like wine. It's like nine and
Yeah.
a half percent.
Yep.
It's like some wine right here. That's how I know I'm high society. I sip on that Voodoo Ranger wine.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Enough jokes. Um, yeah, dude. I think today it's a little less structured. I don't really have too much. Like we both took a little time. You were up in Maine, and
Yeah.
I've just been working like a dog back to the grindstone after summer vacations and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have like too much planned for today, but I figure we need to get an episode out, you know.
I think that's fine. Yeah,
Um,
we'll keep it nice and short and sweet, and
yeah,
we'll just kind of chop it up. I
I
think it's
love it.
okay to do that sometimes.
I agree. I agree. But the way I wanted to structure this one, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today and just like
Yeah.
get the perspective of a Christian on some ideas that I've, been mulling over and some cool theories I've heard about the Bible and
Yeah.
all sorts of different shit.
Absolutely.
And for the folks listening, we look at the numbers and we know the Nephilim episodes are your favorite. And
Yeah.
so Daddy's bringing the heat today with some Nephilim shit. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
People rock with the Earth Girls being
yeah,
pounded.
dude. Yeah, for some reason, it's always the Nephilim episodes that have the highest ones. It's the Anunnaki one, the Nephilim episode, and then the one with your dad about Crowley. Those are our
Oh
3
yeah.
most popular so
Oh
far.
yeah.
So
Love
far.
it.
We should also have like the 3 least popular. Figure out what the
Yeah,
folks don't like.
that's true. That's
Uh,
awesome.
I love it. But yeah, so to get right into it, one of the things that I had heard recently, I was listening to a podcast with this guy, Paul Stobbs.
Yeah.
He was on Tinfoil Hat, and he also did My Family Thinks I'm Crazy, the guy Mark Steves that we had a meeting with.
Yeah.
He was on his podcast, and I listened to them chop it up, and it was very cool. It fucking
Awesome.
blew my mind. But he's got this crazy theory that Nephilim looked like clowns.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard this?
No.
It is such a weird theory, but it makes so much sense when he started explaining this. And
Right
so
off the
there's
bat, I know that clowns are very prevalent beings and deities when it comes to DMT and heavy psychedelics. So that's kind
yeah,
of interesting right off the rip.
yeah, they'll
Sorry.
see like a clown or a jester being. Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah.
as well. But so he talks about it's these characteristics of these clowns. Um, and it's the white skin, the porcelain white skin,
Okay.
these red lips, and then this orange hair, this big orange hair.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because in Aboriginal, you know what the Aborigines are? The like Australian natives.
Yeah.
So this group of natives, they have these cave paintings dated like a really long time ago, like
Yeah.
before Christianity. They had these cave paintings of that looked like clowns, and it was like this like portrait of this little clown creature, and they had this like myth about them, and they said these creatures used to dwell with them, and when it was time to die, they would run into a cave, draw a fucking self portrait, and then die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Oh yeah.
And but these portraits had this big orange circle, like halo around that would insign like,
Yeah.
orange clown hair. Such an interesting, weird theory that like it's certainly some clickbait that I saw. I was like, clowns are Nephilim, huh? But then
Right,
you hear him
right.
explain it, and you're like, wow, he might be
Weird.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
He might be
for
right.
whatever reason, it is super common for the giants to have red hair. You
Yeah,
know,
like
the
the
Native
story about the
Americans have
Kandahar.
yeah, yeah, the one we did on that, and the Native Americans depicted their stories of some chief having to go and eradicate a tribe of red-headed giants. So I don't know why
Wow.
that's a common theme. It probably just has to do with the genes getting so mutilated, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
Um,
interesting. But so there's this other theory that I was hearing, and this it like ties into why they would be considered like clowns.
yeah.
But back in Genesis, when they're in the garden, they're talking about there's the serpent being that comes to Eve,
Yep.
and they don't say snake. They
Nope.
just describe it as like a serpent being. And then afterwards, God curses it to be on its belly, which means
Yes.
it had legs,
Yes.
which means it was fucking standing up. Which, so how I interpret this, um, is it was a seraphim angel that came to Eve.
Okay.
And the seraphim, like the word seraph, it comes from the feeling of that burning from a snake bite. That's what
Uh-huh.
seraph means. And so
Okay.
they've always associated that with snakes and snake bites. But these seraphim angels, which is what Lucifer, I think Michael, Gabriel, this, the slew of angels that ended up going against God,
Yeah.
they all were seraphim angels, these serpentine creatures. And it's very interesting when you hear these ancient cultures speak about um, these like beings that ruled, especially in like Mesoamerica. They talk about the winged serpent,
Yeah.
and the biblical depiction of these angels is they have feathers and wings and
Yeah.
eyes all over. And then
Okay,
if these were the
that's
seraphim, then they were like the serpentine version of this winged eyed being.
creepy. Yeah, I just looked it up to verify because when you said that, I was like, yeah, I thought that in the Bible it depicted them as like literally an eyeball
Mm-hmm.
on fire with wings and
Yeah.
just unimaginable, untangible things, you know?
Yeah.
But that, yeah, that's spicy, dude.
Isn't that spicy?
Into a serpent form.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It definitely was legged because, like you said, it was then cursed to be on its belly.
Yep.
So, I mean, who's to say? And I love how you just added context to what that word means. It's like a snake bite. It's like fiery
Yeah.
burn, right?
Well, and you in a lot of different cultures, like the seraph is referring to something snake-like. Like
Oh,
I think there was like a Persian warrior that was the seraph, and they would wear like a cowl that looked like a snake. You know.
right.
Um.
Damn.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so
what I remember, do you remember Magic the Gathering, that little
yeah,
card game we used to play? So
absolutely.
that game was really good at having all the lore and shit for stuff. And they would refer to. Do you remember when we started playing the set that had come out? It was like the 5 different groups.
Yeah,
It was like the warring tribes, and it was
right.
like old times. There was like the wasteland marauders.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was the like Jedi monk dudes up in the hills. There was
Right.
the forest people cutting down trees and running with the forest creatures and whatever. But
Yeah.
then there was one that was they were like swamp people, and they were intermingled with like snakes and like leopard
Yeah.
people. But they would refer to these as like seraphs, or I
Yeah.
can't remember what the name was for it, but there was like a planeswalker that had that name in it. And so I've always just associated that word seraph with serpent like or snake. And it's so
Yeah.
interesting that they would refer to these angels as seraphim, the
Yeah.
serpent version of these angels. It's interesting.
Interesting. You know where my brain goes with that is I reckon if you tie it together, snake and they're a giant burning eyeball with wings, it probably inhibits or it probably takes a form of a dragon. That's probably what I would go
Absolutely.
with it, you know?
Yep. And
Although they
dragons
don't
were
have
real.
feathers though.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Dragons could have feathers.
Yo, let's go into that side tangent real quick. I think we may have talked about it before, but just once again, I mean, every single civilization throughout time has depicted dragons. Every
Yeah.
single one. they may not necessarily be breathing fire or anything crazy like that, but there's no doubt about it that there was giant lizard creatures flying through the air at one
Yes.
point in time. Every culture,
Yeah.
every
And
culture.
it's so weird. Like, no, all the cultures from all the worlds wouldn't have the same
No.
story about a flying serpent. It's not that's a super rare thing to depict.
Yeah.
It's super prevalent in Chinese culture. It's all over. It's like a big part of their iconography is the
Yeah.
dragon.
Yeah.
It's one of their zodiacs, you know, and it just goes to show that like that was certainly a creature that was here on the earth,
Yeah.
and it very well could have been these. I don't think it was actually the seraphim angels. I think it was offspring.
Yeah.
If the dragons were real, they were offspring of the seraphim or nephilim, as we call them.
Totally. Yeah. That's very intriguing. I wonder why they're associated with serpents if they're a winged eyeball.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look into that.
and it's another compelling thing that, and I think I already made the point, but I got to hammer it back down because it's
Yeah.
so compelling. But the fact that they talk about the winged feathered serpent in like 4 or 5 different native cultures in America.
Yep.
There was, and they talk about that's what Enki is.
Yeah.
One of the Anunnaki, one of these old stories from Sumeria. That's what Enki is depicted as, is this
Yeah.
winged serpent. And so I think it's so compelling to think that with all this corroboration of these stories, they had to be real, at least to
Yep.
some extent.
Oh, I just love how everything ties together one way or another.
Yes,
No matter which one you want to believe is correct, they all tie together. It's
I
so
know.
so interesting.
I know. And it's weird. The more that I keep learning about each of the other ones, the more they all interconnect. I'm like, wow.
Exactly.
It blows my mind people are willing to kill each other over shit like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's it's so weird.
Because that book tells them
Well,
that book.
well then maybe you shouldn't read that book.
Not that book necessarily, but some that
Oh,
will not be mentioned
yes.
to
Yes.
encourage killing
The Sand Book.
opposers. You're savage as fuck, man. I
Uh,
recommend we move on, or
yep.
we will be shut down.
Yeah, you'll have my head just
But
on
you're
a
absolutely
pike.
correct.
That'll be the next
Yes.
episode.
Yeah.
uh, the next broadcast is all grainy and it cuts in and you see the like old emblem like the
Yeah.
Osama bin Laden would use. And it
Yeah.
cuts to a video. They got like my head in a hood. All right, never
Right.
mind. We're moving on.
Oh.
um,
So clowns.
yes. So there's one more story before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in Genesis, they also talk about um, Adam and Eve are cast out of heaven,
Yeah.
but there's already a population on Earth.
They're cast out of the Garden of Eden. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean. They're cast
Yeah.
out of the Garden of Eden, but there's already a population of people on Earth.
Okay.
And they go and join this population of people. And so the way I interpret that, and I heard a guy say this, I need to leaf through the book and really understand it for myself. But when he said that, I was like, oh, wow, that's compelling. I need to look through it myself. But they make this point that they were basically kind of an experiment.
Hmm.
God was like, okay, I'm going to take you and I'm going to take you. You got full control. Here you
Yeah.
go. Let me run a test and just see how this goes. And
Exactly.
it went bad. And he was like, all right, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was one of those. But they talk about there's 2 bloodlines that come from that. There's like the normal bloodline, and then there's this like reptilian bloodline.
Okay.
And God says that there's going to be a because this serpent gave this apple to Eve, and he basically was declaring war on mankind. Like, here you go. Like, you just declared war on them. Like, there will always be a battle between serpent bloodlines and human bloodlines now. Like,
Yeah.
this is, you play stupid games, you're going to win a stupid prize. And that's what they
Right.
got.
Yeah.
But that's so compelling to think about because immediately my little bell went off and I was like, oh, the reptilians. Because I don't know. I would love to believe in the reptilians, but it's a reach slightly too far for me
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But this put it into context where it's like, oh, well, maybe it's not like they're actual reptiles, but it's just this reptilian bloodline.
Yeah.
We're still interminglable and compatible sexually, but it's just this other bloodline that potentially came from Cain. There's this
Okay.
theory that Cain got Eve pregnant,
Ooh.
and it's Cain's bloodline, this serpent bloodline, because when God casts out Cain for striking his brother down,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna exile you, but you're not gonna die, and nobody else
Yes.
can kill you.
Yep.
Like if they kill you, it's sevenfold what would have been your punishment.
Yeah.
It's one of those, and he says, I'm gonna give you a marker so people know, and he gave him white ass skin. That was his marker for like, don't
Okay.
kill this guy.
Yep.
And then these Nephilim people have this white ass skin with these,
Yeah.
you know, red lips, which shows me like intermingling between humans and Nephilim. They got
Yeah.
this serpentine creature, you know. They have this porcelain skin, and then they have these big ass mouths, but then they've got these human lips
Yeah.
spread all across these mouths, and it looks fucking weird. Looks like they got lipstick on.
Yeah. I would I like that a lot. Yeah, I would just say that's just another variation of
Mhm.
gene manipulation, you know?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
so Cain gets cursed and then that enters into the pool, the gene pool, you know?
Yep.
So that would make sense. Yeah, maybe those ones just so happen to be descendants of Cain.
Yes.
I bet,
And
oh dude, if we had like more bodies and stuff to go off of, I bet you we could categorize and find offspring that would come from a certain angel or fallen
yeah,
angel. Whereas like the clown looking ones are from Cain, the giant ones are
oh,
from I don't know,
the
Daniel,
dragons came from
Michael.
Lucifer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude,
So
I
that
love
might
that.
just that's probably just another, point of
Yep,
just a different parent, just another hybrid
exactly.
type deal.
Exactly. But I just thought that was super compelling.
That's cool. Yeah.
Um, and wait, I think I misspoke that Cain got Eve pregnant. I think the serpent got Eve pregnant and Cain was the offspring. I think that's what I meant to say.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Um, Either way, it's very compelling stuff. It blew my mind a little bit. I need to look more into the Bible, but from an outsider looking in that story, I was like, ooh, like that's
Yeah.
deep. I've never heard anybody talk about that before.
That would be and now there is a huge amount of incest that obviously happens, but the way it's been described to me is that because they have such pure magical blood, it allows them to continue to, create generation generation after generation until it kind of dwindles down.
They don't end up
And
getting
then
three chromosomes.
yeah, then you get, mutations and stuff. But
Yeah.
so with that theory that you have there, that means that Cain knocked up his grandma or great grandma.
Yeah.
You know?
Ugh. Hey, but
Um,
fuck it.
yeah.
That's what had to be done.
Yep.
And mind you, these people were living for like 900 years.
Yeah.
You
Yes, they
probably ran
were
through all the
more.
ass in town by 900
Yeah.
years.
I think Abraham lived over 1,000 years.
Wow.
What there's a theory, I think we might have talked about it before, but there was some people think that there was another female in the garden
Hmm.
that disobeyed. I can't remember her name. I wish I could, but
Lilith.
Lilith. Yeah,
Hmm.
and so she like wasn't a good match for Adam, and so therefore Eve was created from Adam's rib,
Yep.
So that also would kind of help with like if he makes a population with her and then his kids with Eve, they can
Right.
kind of, it's still gross, but
It still
like
would grow
it would help, you know?
properly. Yeah, it would help. It'd help
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, that story of Lilith is very interesting because it's written out of the Bible, but it's
Yeah.
very well known.
Yeah.
They don't mention it in the Bible though, but it's because they were made equal.
Yeah.
Lilith and Adam were made equal in God's image,
Yes.
and she was too dominant. She wanted to be on top. That was like
Yeah.
what the whole squabble was that
Right.
she wanted to do cowgirl, which I say good girl. What a good
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Fucking A right. Let her on top. But
Right.
not God.
Yeah.
God likes to do all the work himself, and so he
Yes.
cast her out for that.
Yeah. I
But
don't know. I don't know too much about all that, but
it's an
this is all
interesting
compelling
story.
stuff. I mean,
Yes.
just the possibilities of shit like that is insane.
Yeah, yeah. And oh, another episode that I want to do with you on the topic of Lilith and just Bible stories that have been left out. We should do a whole episode, and like I kind of want to just do like a research project or something on these lost books.
Yeah.
Read the Bible first and then get a good idea of what's going on in the Bible and then
Yeah.
read these lost books of the Bible and see if they really fit in, if it's something that's plausible.
Well, this episode we're doing now branches from that. This is all from the book of Enoch, you know?
Yep.
The book of Enoch is the one that describes in detail about how fallen angels knocked up women, earthly women, earth girls, and
Yeah,
produce crazy offspring. And so I'm so down to go into all that stuff.
I love it.
It'd be fun to break down, just like run down real quick all the prophecies of Revelations. That would
Oh,
be
that
really
have been
fun.
going that have been coming
Scary
true.
shit.
I
Yeah.
know.
Coming true
I
and just
know.
people who don't know like of what's to come. It's like super, it's like literal Lord of
We
the
have to
Rings
I
shit.
know we have to plan for it properly, dude. Everybody needs
Yeah.
to be aware.
Yeah,
It's scary to think about.
it is.
Like the Euphrates River drying up.
Yeah,
That's a
that
big one.
happened. Yeah.
That's a big one. We just gotta
And
wait for
that
the army to traverse the seabed, and it's
I was
over.
gonna say that's a scary one because you know what's under the Euphrates River?
Is that where the Titans are at?
Yeah, it's chained up, you know. Uh, which one? Some of the fallen angels who are now demon lords, you know. So that's gonna open
Oh,
up and then a giant thing is gonna come out. Yeah.
fuck, dude. I love Bible prophecy theories.
Yes.
That shit gets my heart racing. I get scared.
Oh yeah.
Face gets flush. It's fucked up. I remember
I have
researching
bad
it in
dreams
school.
about, waking up to hearing a trumpet that everyone can hear in the world.
Oh,
Do you know about that? How the
yep,
trumpets are sounded? Yeah, okay.
yep,
Ugh.
yep. Thank God I had Jesus in my heart. Amen.
Uh-huh. Amen.
I got saved when I was like 6 before I
Yeah,
even could understand the concept of it.
good.
But I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
So,
Hopefully it didn't wear off. That
yeah.
shit doesn't come off like sunscreen, does it?
No, no.
Okay.
That's an interesting thing that you just said to talk about real quick. I think, in my personal opinion, there's some people who believe that you have to live kind of like a Lutheran, like
Hmm.
no cell phone, none of this, can't sin. They are trying to be so pure. But it says in black and white, as simple as day, believe in Jesus Christ, believe that he died for your sins, that your sins are forgiven,
Yeah.
and then just try and be a decent person. You're good to go, man.
Right. He
It's all
already
about
he already did
acknowledgement.
all that worrying for you.
Yes. And so people just like to make it so complicated, and that's kind
Yeah.
of what I am. I mean, I drink, I sin every day. You know why? Because we're born of sin.
We're sinners.
Yes. We are imperfect, and that's the whole point of
Yep.
Jesus coming to earth. That's the whole point. He
Yeah.
paid for it, so
Which
to
what a
tie
guy.
back and answer your question, yes, I think you're okay.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
You should be fine.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. I know
Yeah.
I've wavered often. I think that's like it's like a philosophical question that I wrestle with.
Yeah.
It's like if you question the faith, because God says not to question him,
Right.
but I question him all the time.
Right.
I have to question him on a daily basis.
Yes. It's
You
human
know?
nature to be curious.
Yeah, it's very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I guess as long as you live righteously,
Yeah.
you're in the clear. And that reminds me of our friend Aleister Crowley that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And that was his whole idea is like as long as I'm living within my moral compass and I'm living as righteously as I can, it's fine.
Yeah.
But then he lived like a really evil life.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know about it.
You got any other juicy questions for me? I love this. While I was in
Yes.
Maine, I was explaining to my sisters. We talked. I got drunk and talked to them for like an hour and a half until like
Nice.
all the way up until like 2 a.m. just about shit. I mean, it was just the basic questions that people like to ask. It's like, well, how could he allow this to happen if he's almighty and stuff like that? And so,
Right. Because this isn't his realm.
yeah, I love to
The
talk about
devil
it.
rules this spot.
Yep.
That's why so much evil happens here. That's the like ultimate question everybody asks. Like, well, if there's a God, why do babies get killed?
Yes,
And it's
exactly.
like, well, first of all, there's something called free will,
Yeah, exactly.
and there's a reason for that.
Yep.
And it's a double-edged sword, for sure.
Yeah.
Free will allow you to raise and elevate your brain and your spirit to incredible heights, or you can kill people.
Yeah.
That's what free will means,
Yep.
and it's not as black and white as that, but
But it is,
yes.
you know. Um, if there was no free will, there would be no purpose to anything. We would all just be slaves. Yo,
Nope.
Matt, you bring me a brewski? Will you bring me a brewski?
Hell
Appreciate ya.
yeah. He said, yes, mister.
Uh, um, yeah. You got any other juicy questions hiding
Yes.
in there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got a couple.
Yeah.
So I wanted to run this idea by you. Um, it's like the Gnostic belief about things, and like, the Gnostic is interesting. It's like a sect of Christianity. Oh, tell Matt I love him. Sorry,
It's,
folks. The boy Matt is checking it out. Matt,
yeah,
we
you're
love you.
fine. He says he loves you. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. I miss that motherfucker. We got to get him on the podcast. I texted him and tried to get him on, and he said, I don't really do conspiracies, but I'll do
Really?
comedy. And I was like, all right, fucker.
Really? Oh, I'll talk to
Yeah.
him. We'll
Talk
get him
to
on.
him.
We'll get him on.
Get
Yeah.
him on. We'll clown him. We'll make him believe all our conspiracies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what we'll do.
Okay. Agnostics.
Yes. So no, it's not agnostic. It's just Gnostic. So it's GNO. And agnostic, it means that you need to be shown some proof. You don't disbelieve, but you don't believe.
Yeah.
It's like, metaphysically on the fence is
Yeah.
what agnostic means. But the Gnostic beliefs, which is without the A, it's this old sect of Christianity that believed that, and they had these different ideas, and I think they really followed the Enochian books and whatnot, but they believed that we were on a realm of consequence, and we were put here by the demiurge
Okay.
or the Yaldabaoth, which is this evil spirit that wants to torture us and keep us trapped on this planet.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about that?
So again, that to me, that just sounds like when they really get down to the nitty-gritty, that just sounds like another way of saying Satan,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are, in a sense, trapped to be ruled under the most evil thing in the universe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know like how much shit there is to like back that up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and I'm trying to remember. They think
yeah.
they mentioned that it's not the Lucifer. It is God that trapped us. And
Okay.
they consider excuse me.
Fun.
They consider Lucifer uh as like a Promethean style character that gave knowledge to man. So
Totally.
they revere this Lucifer figure.
Totally.
Um, I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that because
No, totally.
I've
Yeah.
been
It's
learning
just
about all of it, and it's so interesting to see such varying degrees of belief and like opposing beliefs, basically.
totally. Yeah, it's just classic, black and white God versus the devil. Because his ultimate plan is to be worshipped, and his best thing is to impersonate and mock. He loves to mock, mock, mock.
Right.
And so what better way to convince people to worship him than come to earth and bring knowledge and be fruitful
It's a
and
great point.
act like you're blessing us by giving us knowledge, which in the in the end actually curses us because knowledge, the more knowledge you have, the more cursed you are, you know?
I have been learning that
Yeah,
slowly.
yes. If we were more dumbed down and just down to earth, everything would be better, but everyone's so freaking smart.
Yeah,
They want to know more.
everybody does. Well, and everybody thinks they're a fucking expert too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the other worrying place that we get.
Yeah.
Um, that makes me think about how like when the devil presents itself to you, a lot of people think that it's going to be this like this fucking evil, like the nun type creature creeping out from the corner of the fucking room. It probably won't be. It'll probably be this dude in a fucking most expensive suit you ever seen, and he pulls up in this car that's a prototype. And you're like, God,
Yes,
what kind of car is that? You know?
exactly. Or
And
it'll be
is
the most beautiful woman you've ever seen,
yeah,
seductive, and that's all it is. Because Lucifer is beautiful. He got
yeah.
cursed, but he still has powers. He's beautiful,
Well, and
you
he
know?
was like the most beautiful. He was made exactly in God's image.
Yes.
And so that's why he's so beautiful.
Yep.
And he was also the like music player. And so he's
Yeah.
a fucking gangster playing music. And
Yeah.
so if some handsome, it's like a rock star. If some handsome motherfucker is playing good music, you'll sell your soul to him.
Oh, right. Yeah,
You know what I'm
totally.
saying?
Well, and just
It's
the way that they get you, because so many people would automatically think like, "Oh, I would never do that." It's not like that. It's just what you
no,
exactly said. It's not like he comes up as a dragon, demon, hideous creature. It says, "Sell your soul to me."
yeah.
No, it's seductive. It's uh, what's the word? You know, he's trying to he's persuasive.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Charming.
though I'm sure they come across to people. They probably target, which they do target people who have a really rough upbringing, who are
Yeah,
poor, and they say, don't you want to take care of your family forever?
it's a
And
good
they
point.
word it weird. They don't say literally sell your eternal soul to me. They'll say sell all your rights to me
Mm.
and then push agendas. But
And if people don't even know about the Bible, they don't even know what they're signing.
yeah,
It's like people that haven't researched it and don't even really know that like you might be presented with this kind of contract in your life. Do not take the Faustian bargain.
totally,
Don't.
totally,
You need to be very diligent about that. Um,
totally. Yeah, real quick to go back to
yeah.
answer your
Sorry.
question, every time, no, every time I see something like that where it's like some group of people is trying to push that maybe God is bad and Lucifer's trying to help us out of some kind of trap or something, I just think immediately I go 1-0 Satan, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to those people. That just sounds like the perfect plan to me.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just such an interesting idea to think about, you know.
it is. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I struggle with it because lately I've been opening my mind to it, but I've always
Yeah.
been so closed off about the idea of Christianity
Yeah.
and just, what that religion can hold for me. And honestly, it wasn't because of the Bible or church. It was because of people in my life that I saw that didn't fucking they weren't good Christians.
Yeah.
And they were like holier than thou, nose up in the fucking air Christians. And
Yes.
I hated that. And I hated Christianity for them. I didn't
Yes.
realize that it was not Christianity doing that to them. It was that person,
Yeah.
you know?
Totally, dude. Yeah. There's a horrible stigma that comes with it. And it's
Yeah.
really sad that it has to be that way. But it's that people who try to be godly themselves are actually committing horrible sin themselves, you know?
That's a great point. Like you know, my girlfriend has some, very religious people in her life, and
Yeah.
they're fairly judgmental,
Yeah.
quite a bit judgmental,
Thank
and
you. Hold on, pause. They're judgmental, right?
yeah,
So if they read their Bible, they would know that they're not supposed to be judgmental.
yeah,
There's one judge.
and it's God.
One.
Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
yes,
I agree with you completely, by the way.
yes, and it's just frustrating because it's people like that that scare you away from it,
Yeah.
you know. But as I research more, and it's so interesting, I hear people like Sam Tripoli and other conspiracy players will say this. They'll be like, "Dude, the further you go down the rabbit hole, the closer to God you're gonna get."
Yeah,
And it's so weird how true that is
it is.
because it's not like you find God. Honestly, you find the opposite, and you're like,
Yes.
"Oh, whoa, okay,
Yep.
okay, this game might be real.
Yeah.
It might be fucking good versus evil."
Yeah.
Very well could be. Because why else would they do it this way?
Yeah. It's so funny, dude, because people like to make fun. They're like, "Ooh, a big guy in the sky, create everything, all powerful." Then the more and more you think of it, you're like, "Well, that's actually the single most logical explanation
Yeah.
compared to everything else. Everything else to me is way more of a fantasy than that there might be a God.
Well, and let's be clear. Let's talk about the Big Bang Theory for a second.
Oh God.
Do you want to know what the physicist said that came up with the fucking Big Bang Theory?
Tell me.
He said, "Give me this one miracle and I'll solve the rest of them."
Yeah.
That was his fucking quote when he came up with the fucking Big Bang Theory. How much
Yeah.
weight do you think that holds?
Right.
It's
Uh,
it's bullshit to me, man.
yeah, absolutely.
And so I don't know. It's just it's so interesting to see. The further it almost seems like scientists are working with a concerted effort to disprove the fact that there's a God. Like they're
Well, they
working
are.
so hard,
Why?
probably because the devil is has his fingers in it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Man, god damn it.
Like why does being a Christian get dumped on so hard? You know?
I'll tell you why. Because I know why.
Yeah.
Because I've dumped on Christians
Yeah.
and I have a reason. And it's because we see this evangelizing from a private jet.
Yeah.
We see these multi-million-dollar fucking churches
Yeah.
that don't pay taxes. They're outside of the tax bracket,
Yes.
which is not fair. They're
Totally.
collecting from people that shouldn't be giving them any money.
Agreed. I'm
Um,
not a fan of the church.
right, but and that's what happens is people conflate Christians with the church.
Yeah.
That's what happens, and that's why there's so much hatred for it.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
that's
but
that's
so
where I was. I was
what I
stuck in
mean,
thinking that
Cam,
church people were Christians, and that's not all Christians. Most Christians are not like that.
totally. But what I mean is why can't a scientist, an evolutionary scientist say, or an evolutionist, sorry, say, why can't they work together in harmony with a Christian scientist? Because there's amazing Christian scientists out there who
Yeah,
agree with a lot of the science that's out there, because a lot of science is fact, obviously, but
right.
how come they can't work together and poke ideas and do stuff? No, it's a battle. Why?
Yeah, right. Well,
You
and
can
it's
guess.
it's because of I think it's the idea of evolution. I think that's where scientists and Christians really fight, right? It's the
Yes.
evolution page is where they
Yes.
really squabble. Um, I guess let me pose this question then. Do you
Yeah.
think whales came from land animals?
Whales?
Yeah, because
No.
mainstream science would say that whales came from like hippos and whales are the most closely related to each other.
Right.
And before that, it was like this wolf creature,
Right.
and it
No, I don't.
no.
No, I do not.
See, and maybe I've been conditioned to fucking think, and I haven't even done the research, and so it's like I'm literally like, well, my teacher told me, and
Yeah,
that's my defense. But you know, you look at all these different things that happen evolutionarily. So do you think that creatures can change based on their environment? Do you think they adapt?
I do. But there's levels to it, Like
Right.
my first question to you, I love that you said hippos and whales are super related. Can you show me a hippo that can breathe underwater?
Well, no, they can't.
They
But
can't.
it's because these fucking scientists say that evolution got rid of the gill system, or that was before the gills had been put in. I
Yeah.
think if I'm looking at the evolutionary line, hippos were before whales,
Yeah.
and then these ones stayed on land. These ones went in the water. These ones kept going in the water.
Yeah.
Then they could breathe water.
Yeah. You
It
know,
does
like
seem
you
it
just
does
go
seem fantastic
you
to
just go
think
back
about.
to yeah, you just go to the basics, bro. Like have we seen a single monkey, you know, evolve even close to us? How come
There,
monkeys still exist?
there are people in Indonesia that can hold their breath for like 30 fucking minutes.
Well, yeah, that's they train the cells in their body. Do you know who Wim Hof is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you basically train the cells in your body to not require so much oxygen or in other words, hold oxygen way better.
Yeah.
And so like yeah, like that's why some magicians and stuff hold
Like
the world
Houdini.
record,
Yeah.
yeah, for holding their breath is because through breath work you can train the cells in your body to not need oxygen like that.
Wow.
And you can do it, bro. If you do the Wim Hof thing, I used to fuck around and do it in my room all the time. I went from being able to hold my breath for 30 seconds to being able to hold my breath for 3 minutes on my life.
Whoa.
On my life. You can do it.
Which is so useful. Imagine you're getting drowned
Yeah.
and you have 3 minutes versus fucking 30 seconds
Yeah.
to get yourself out.
Yep.
Wow.
People might call bullshit. I swear to God, try
No,
it.
I
If you
no,
do it right.
I absolutely
No,
believe
I
you.
know. I
There's
know, but I'm
people
just
like David
saying.
Blaine that held his breath for like 20 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
I listened to his TED Talk. Dude, I'm such a fucking nerd. When I was in middle school, I had that TED Talk saved on my phone and I would
Yeah.
listen to that to go to bed.
Right.
That was like my bedtime routine, buddy. I'd listen to David Blaine talk about holding his breath.
I think that's cool, dude, because it's a crazy event. It's something new. People don't
Yeah.
know about that stuff.
Yes. It
But
was just
to your
different
point about the
outside of the
people who can
paradigm.
hold their breath just naturally for 30 minutes because of their upbringing, but
Right.
can they survive underwater? No.
No. But
No.
so what an evolutionary scientist would say is that this generation can hold it for 30 minutes. The next generation with the proper training can hold it for 40,
Right.
so on and so forth until you almost establish an ability to, but I don't
You
know.
never would,
I don't know.
never would.
But we don't know that. But maybe we do. Maybe we do. There's just so many
Yeah,
different species. There's no way that they were all created. They had to have splintered off, and it's almost the same as like the idea with Nephilim and how they were
totally.
born and had these different attributes, and then the next one was born and they had even different attributes. So that could seem like evolution.
Absolutely. It also says in the Bible that they absolutely tampered with animals.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was a big thing that they tampered with, honestly. They probably tampered with them more than they tampered with us,
Wow. So
you
maybe
know?
that could play into the idea of why a whale was a fucking wolf one time and then they made it into a whale.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. That's like
Yeah.
what they say. Look up the evolution of a whale.
Okay.
It's interesting to see what creature it came from. It's so weird. It does not look
Yeah.
like it should have been a whale.
Yeah.
That's one of the weirdest ones. And they
Okay.
hear with
Yeah.
their jawbone.
Yeah. Here's a super simple diagram. Yeah, it is almost like a wolf. It looks like a weasel that goes into a platypus.
Do you have a good picture? Do you want to share screen?
Yeah, sure. You got to enable me real quick.
Oh shit. Um, it should say you're able to share.
Okay. Yep, we're good. All right, can you
Cool.
see it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, weird.
So here we go. For stuff like this to be true, the Earth and the universe has to be, billions and billions of
Really
years
old.
old. Now, um,
Oh, that's the other beef is the timeline, dude.
yeah,
What is it? 6,000 years?
yeah. So the Earth is really only like, according to the Bible, of course, it's really only like around 10,000 years old. So
God, my indoctrinated school brain,
I know it.
it's like a visceral reaction I have when I hear shit like that.
I know it.
I'm like, no, wait, but
And it's all based on these tests that they do with rocks and shit like that. And I'm not well versed on it. I've heard there's this amazing preacher who is also a highly skilled scientist who does all these speeches to combat stuff like this. And it's just so good to listen to. I'll get you his name.
I would love that. I
Oh,
love hearing
dude.
all the different sides. It's so important. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on around here.
Yeah.
I take everything with a grain of salt. I think you
Yeah.
have to. If you
I
don't,
think,
you're fucking up.
yeah. I can't leave you and everyone else with that though. Let me find his name real quick because he's so good. He's so good. He went on TV and debated Bill Nye, and it was the best shit ever, dude.
No shit. He did a
Yeah.
Bill Nye,
Yep.
not the science guy.
Yeah. Um,
We used to actually like mosh pit when Bill would come on.
I know. Bill, 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 Bill.
Bill's all open up that fucking pit.
Yeah.
Love it.
While I'm
Um,
searching this up, I would
yes.
like to just talk about again one of my favorite things that this whole entire conversation and theory and way of thinking puts to me is just the fact that if Nephilim are real, I full-heartedly believe that is where the mythologies come from.
Yes.
It blows my mind to think like there probably was a shit ton of people that believed that a character named Zeus was God, you know?
Well, and it's because there was this fucking dude, this fallen angel or this Nephilim that was able to, and that's they explain this in this podcast I listened to. This dude Paul Stobbs, he explains how all these fallen angels, all these seraphim angels came down, intermingled with man, and proclaimed themselves as gods and created pantheons. That's
Yes.
where you get the Egyptian pantheon and the Greek and the Roman pantheon. Sorry.
It's so cool, bro.
It was probably some dude that could throw lightning.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
he had a taser, and they're like, "This is
Literally.
Zeus."
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody talks shit, and he's
exactly.
all.
Ah, why
Uh,
can I find this guy, man?
That's one of the most interesting things for me is why there was such a strong belief in these pantheon of gods. I love
Yeah.
to research that.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite things, and it's so compelling because when you do the research, you start to realize that it's like, wow, these, especially when you go far back enough to the oldest stories that there are. There's this podcast I listen to called Oldest Stories
Yeah.
on Spotify, and that's literally what it is. It's all
Yeah.
the oldest shit, and he translates the cuneiform tablets for you, and he tells you what the tablet says, and it's so cool. And he like puts a little like, of course he puts like an artistic and writer tang to it so that it's palatable. But even still, it's just such a great idea. You get to hear all these stories. You get to hear the Epic of Gilgamesh, and you hear of Ishtar,
Yes.
um, Anu, which is like the king of all the gods, is what
Yes.
they call him, which is where the word Anunnaki comes from. It is so
Okay.
compelling.
I know it's insane. I found his name, at least the last one. His name is Dr. Hovind.
Hovind,
Yeah, so let me just
how do you spell
type
that?
that in. Hovind.
Hovind. I'm gonna have to look into that. If he's debating my boy Bill Nye, the actual
Kent,
science man himself,
yeah, Kent Hovind, everybody.
Kent
That's his
Hovind.
name. He is so, so good at explaining all these huge questions between like, dinosaurs, evolution.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a big listen.
You got to, bro.
I will,
It's incredible.
because it's compelling stuff. I need to hear it all.
There's this video right here, um, on a page called Our Only Hope, and it's three evolutionists versus one creationist, and it's him versus three evolutionists, and it's oh man, it's insane.
He just fucking chews them up.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry people about that long pause. I had to find that name. I couldn't
No,
drop
that's
that
all right. That's good.
bombshell.
And you
Yeah,
gave him his due diligence.
he's so good.
What was his first name?
Kent.
Kent. Kent Hovind, ladies and
Hmm.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that. And you know what it comes down to? Even if you're not religious, listen to it.
Yeah.
Like, why not have more information in your head?
Totally.
Even if you disagree, now you have something you can talk to your friend about. Be like, dude, I listened to this fucking crazy this guy who's talking about 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Listen to it. For God's
Yeah.
sake. We're here to
Literally.
gain knowledge on Earth. God damn it. Fill
Yeah.
your brains.
Fuck. Well,
I love it.
Cam,
Dude, this was great.
what else?
Let me see. Let me see. I got some more for sure.
Okay.
I just got to dig deep. I didn't have any
Right.
more planned, but I know I've got some questions about it.
Right.
Um, I guess so. This is a great one.
Okay.
This is a great one that I think about. Um, I heard from, I think it was on Protect Our Parks. Did you listen to that with Joe Rogan?
Maybe.
It's one of the JRE podcasts he does, but it's him and three other comics, and they just all get fucked up.
Okay,
It's
I'm
like him,
sure I've
Shane
heard it.
Gillis, Ari
Okay, yeah.
Shafir,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mark Norman. Mark
As
Norman's the funniest fucking one of all of them.
I know. As
God,
recent
he's
as Shane
so
Gillis, yeah, I
funny.
listen to those. Yeah.
But Ari was explaining because he is Jewish and he's very versed in Jewish culture and the Bible and all of that, and
Yeah.
a lot of religions. He's traveled the world. He like went all over and figured out what's going on,
Yeah.
which I think is dope.
It is.
That's the kind of journey I'm gonna have to go on at some point in my life. A
Yeah.
little pilgrimage to go
Yeah.
figure out what's going on.
Totally.
But he was making the point that so excuse me, Abraham. This was so I want to understand this a little more. I probably should have done some research beforehand, but Abraham, was he the first person that God ever spoke to? What is the significance of Abraham?
I think he's Adam's like first son.
Adam's
Or
first
he's
son.
like a
Okay.
direct, like immediate bloodline. Yeah.
Okay. I've always heard, and it's like Abrahamic religion is the umbrella
Yeah.
that Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim beliefs all fall under.
Yes. Yep. And God did talk to him. He actually showed Abraham all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So there was this story that I heard about, the circumcision and how
Yeah.
Abraham had to circumcise himself
Yeah.
and then his son. All the males in the house,
Yeah.
But then they had a child, and it was Ishmael, or was
Yeah.
Ishmael already alive and he circumcised him? But either way,
He
the
was
point
already alive. Yeah.
okay, so the point I'm trying to make is he was the firstborn son.
Yeah.
And I think and it really put it all into perspective for me of why these religions hate each other. And it's
Yeah.
because the Muslim faith believes that Ishmael is the first begotten son. It is not Jesus.
Okay.
And they wonder why Jesus gets all this fucking clout. They're like, yeah,
Right.
he was a prophet for
Yeah.
sure, but he was like sixth, bro. It
Right.
was like one of those. That's how they think
Yeah.
about it. What's your thoughts on that? I just wanted to throw that
I
idea around.
honestly, I don't know. That's so Old Testament, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I, um, I don't know. I just, one thing I do know for sure is based upon the scholars that I've listened to and stuff is that's not the case, you know?
Yeah,
Um, Definitely God's first son was one that he sent into a virgin woman, you know?
right.
Um, as for just funny side note, I also have no idea why people are supposed to get circumcised. I have no idea.
Me neither.
No fucking clue what that has any importance for anything.
It's
I'm not
probably
versed in that.
it's a little gross,
I don't know.
honestly. You probably know what it was with a lot of how these things come to be, like, oh, don't eat pork. Well, it's because
Yeah,
pork has meningitis,
right.
or what's other shit they do?
I don't know.
What else is not
Maybe
kosher?
he was just doing us a fucking favor because honestly, it's pretty great.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You
Oh, those
know,
motherfuckers.
you just let that head hang proud, brother.
I've heard that you lose a lot of sensitivity, like from uncircumcised
That's
people.
true. Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Clean
Yeah.
gang.
Clean. Yep.
Jesus. Oh,
But no, I'll get back to you on that for sure.
it's just that was something interesting that Ari Shafir had brought up, and I was like, oh, and he made the
Yeah.
point that like that's why there's so much beef between everybody,
Yeah.
is because Christians deified Jesus, where really Abraham and Ishmael are the dudes.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I can understand from that perspective. Like, yeah, they were the first one to talk to God, but Jesus really came and Jesus was the Alex Jones
Yeah.
of the Bible.
Right.
He came in, he said, "You're selling shit."
Yeah.
Flip their fucking table up.
Yeah. Don't ever tell Alex Jones that or he'll fucking implode.
He might.
He'll
He,
he'll get he'll run with that forever, you know. Alex Jones would have been Jesus.
dude, he might just start sucking his own dick and then roll into an
Literally.
armadillo and roll away.
If
That's what it'll be.
once we get on his show, dude, yeah, don't tell him
Oh,
that.
it's over for us. I'm gonna have to tell him in person. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
no. And the point I'm trying to make is just a pot stirrer, somebody that
yeah.
like points out the deceit, somebody that
Totally.
sneaks into Bohemian Grove and gets footage.
Totally.
It's the kind of guy we need.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. God damn it. Yeah, the Bible, it's such an interesting story because it's like a conglomeration of all these different stories that come
Yeah.
together. and it's all these different points of view and perspectives, and you have to like, read it, take it with a grain of salt, take the moral, take the message, read the next one.
Yep.
It's so weird, and it's so weird.
It is. It is.
I'm trying to get into it. I got my trusty handy dandy over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to start reading it.
When I
I
was a kid, at some point over, probably 2.5 years, I read it cover to cover.
Wow.
But I was pretty young, so I didn't retain every little bit of information. I also barely fucking understood it,
Right.
obviously.
Well, and it's one of those things where, especially if you're reading the King James version, the King's
Yeah.
English is fucked.
Yes.
Okay.
So I really, as being a person and being on the platform that we're trying to push and stuff, I need to sit down and read the bitch again.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. I need to read the Bible, and then I need to start reading the lost books, and then I'm going to read the Quran, and I'm going to read all of them.
Yeah.
I think I want to get the big picture. I want to understand what's going on, man.
Yeah. Your puppy dog's like, it's time to go potty, Dad.
I know. It's exactly what's going on. Hi, baby. Oh, yeah. Dude, this was a great episode. I appreciate you answering
Absolutely.
my questions.
Yeah,
I
of
just,
course.
yeah, I want to understand it better.
I
And
try. I want to say that I am, by no means a professional. I really base a lot of the things that I say and all that stuff just on natural feelings,
right.
you know? I just like to do stuff the way I feel. I don't
Yep.
feel like I'm meaningless on a spinning globe going a million miles through the endless fucking universe. I don't feel it.
Right.
I like to go based off natural human instinct.
But
And
then
so
I get nihilist, because then what if maybe they give you that feeling that you're not useless so that you don't kill yourself early?
I guess, if that's the way you want to live.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know,
That's
I
just
know, I know.
my philosophy brain goes off.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
no, this was great. Yeah. Let's cook up something spicy. I'm going to North Carolina on Wednesday. I'll be
Cool.
there for a few weeks, but I'll obviously bring a laptop and so
Bet.
let's
Bet.
plan something good.
We'll
Let's
still
get some
bust some recording.
guests.
Yes, dude. I've got some people that I've been messaging on Podmatch
Yeah.
that are looking. I'm gonna send you after this podcast. I'll send you a couple screenshots of this lady. I haven't said yes yet, but I
Yeah.
think she's pretty good. I think we could have her on. She's like a psychic medium.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's cool. I think
All
that would
right.
be good. And then also, I still haven't done it yet, but I want to text my mom's boss and get him back on,
Yeah.
or get him on for the first time. He's never been
Yeah.
on. But the
Yeah.
Freemason dude, get some Freemason talk.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I think it's about that time, dude. And we got to get your
Absolutely.
dad back on for the Crowley.
Oh yeah, because we didn't even really go into a lot of his works, did we? We kind of just broke it down.
We gave like the foreword. That's what it
Yeah.
was. It was just the beginning part of the book.
Yep.
And there's
Literally.
a whole book on that dude. I have so much useless knowledge on Crowley that we have to do like at least
Okay.
an 8-part, and I got to get it all out.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna have
All
some
right,
fun
brother.
the next couple weeks, dude. This was a good
Yeah.
one, buddy. It's good to
Yes,
talk to
sir.
you again. I'm glad we're back in the
Absolutely.
fucking groove.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. We're gonna bring it to
Yeah.
the folks, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. As always, give us some love. 5 stars on Spotify helps incredibly. You guys don't even understand how much it helps. It's 3 seconds out of your day. We might get sponsors or not in our day. So
Yeah.
it's one of those kind of things. Shoot us some 5-star reviews. Put some comments in there. Follow us on YouTube. Leave nice comments. Leave mean comments. Comment on my fucking unsymmetrical hair part. I don't care. Let's talk about it. All right. But just say something. All right. And I think that's what I'm going to end it on.
Yes,
Just go and
sir.
say something, folks.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. I love you, Avery. Have a good night,
Love you,
buddy.
bro. Peace, dog.
Peace.